Thank you, sir, for graciously doing the honors. Thank you.
Each state has been given a theme. Like, for the Nagaland, it is the shifting cultivation and biodiversity. Why biodiversity? Because we are under the Indo-Myanmar biodiversity rich region hotspot. So biodiversity is a key to our project. Now coming to the Jhum cultivation, now I would like to go back, 30 years back, how this Jhum had been looked at by the scientific fraternity in Delhi or the consultants in the Delhi. See, before 2000, no government project was implemented in the private or the community land. And when I was undergoing training at NFMP, one of the reasons for the destruction of the forest was always ascribed to or attributed to the shifting cultivation. Fortunately, in 1999-2000, one former Chief Secretary of Nagaland, late Achint Gokhale, was a Special Secretary MOEF. And it was at that time when National Afforestation Program was being formulated. Not only that, the Convention of Biological Diversity, the Biological Diversity Act was under formulation. So there had been a lot of serious discussion in the meeting vis-a-vis Northeast that we must do something to stop shifting cultivation because it is, damaging the forest.
Nagaland, of course, has as a percentage of the geographical area, has a pretty large area under cultivation, but across the Northeast also it's close to 750,000 to 850,000 hectares of forest which is under shifting cultivation. There are few imperatives that impinge on the whole resource balance vis-a-vis the population. I think, the way that I have seen during the design phase and subsequently during the implementation support that we extend to the Nagaland Forest Department as part of the JICA project, we saw the opportunity at the design stage to really look at the abandoned lands to be brought under, forest again. Whatever interventions through the project and with help of the communities that would be done. But if you step back and ask the question why the lands have been abandoned, I think it's the economic, socio-economic, political imperative that we have lesser hands, and jhuming is a very, very labor-intensive activity, as we all know. And with the younger population moving away for better green-collar jobs, there are less and less hands that are available. Now, as we look at forward to next 15 to 20 years, this is my perception, and I may be completely off the mark here. But what we need to really look at from the population and the environment, and as the custodian, as the Reverend invoked, what do we need to really do in terms of the next 15, 20, 50 years that we are able to sustain these forests and sustain the biodiversity and the water and various services that we get from these areas, is possibly across 4 broad pillars, and you would see as part of ROJB that these pillars are pretty well reflected. Some in lesser format and some more. And these 4 pillars are, from my perspective, around knowledge. That's something that we do need to conserve, document, and propound as for the future generations to look at. 2, in terms of the capital, not only the natural capital, but also in terms of the capital that provides return to the communities that are protecting that forest, using that forest, conserving that forest. And that becomes quite critical for us. 3rd is in terms of the networks. I think across, just not Nagaland, but across the globe and particularly across the region, I see ROJB providing a very critical role for the South Asia, Southeast Asian regions on the knowledge and the richness of the biodiversity and the customs and the systems that there are. While we do talk about system, and again, I'm talking not to people would know, but I was very, very pleasantly surprised when we look at different systems that were being practiced by different tribes, and there are kind of iconic systems that have evolved over centuries. I think these need to be documented, and there needs to be cross-learning across these systems.
Biodiversity and sustainable growth. Together, it conveys the vision of transforming shifting cultivation landscapes into resilient ecosystems in Nagaland.
Moi Asha Kor Apuni Bahar Ase. On behalf of JICA, I'm honored to celebrate with you the launch of the Resource Organization for Jhum and Biodiversity (ROJB), a visionary initiative under the Nagaland Forest Management Project supported by JICA. I'm very honored to be here with you to celebrate a seminal moment for Nagaland's forest sector today. The ROJB is not just an institution, it is a commitment to the people of Nagaland, to their landscape, their livelihood, and their legacy of ecological stewardship. The institution will serve as a visionary catalyst, integrated scientific research, and indigenous knowledge and policy innovation to address the complex realities of Jhum cultivation and biodiversity conservation. I expect that ROJB will be a knowledge hub that will promote innovation in the state, the Nagaland's northeast region, and expand the scope to the Himalayan region. And with JICA, so actually our friendship between India and Japan spans many centuries. And today our partnership is stronger than ever under the India-Japan Special Strategic and Global Partnership. Last month, so our two great leaders met in Tokyo and reaffirmed that the Japan-India relations remain extremely strong and that our partnership will play an important role in many key areas that will shape the world of the future, including economic security, digital technology, and new energy, etc., etc. So they agreed to the 8 directions for the next decade, but one of which is the next generation ecological legacies. So that includes sustainable forest management and biodiversity conservation and promotion of agroforestry. And our two leaders also committed to further strengthen people-to-people exchange. The project is very much in line with the strategic direction of the both countries. Regarding this project, so our cooperation project, the Nagaland Forest Management Project, aims to conserve forest and biodiversity through community participation and enhance people's livelihood, and strengthen forestry management institutions through infrastructure development and training. The project is making a steady progress towards the project's ambitious target thanks to the tireless effort of the Nagaland Forestry Department staff and various stakeholders involved in the project. So far, approximately 38,000 hectares of plantation have been achieved, and 429 self-help groups are formed to promote livelihood activities under this project.
Launching workshop of resource organization on Jhum and Biodiversity, which evolved as a ROJB. I sincerely want to thank the BCCF and his entire department for having me here today to be a part of your workshop program. I may not be expert on these subjects, but I'm so very happy because I just get few opportunity to be a part and parcel of the department's activities. So, as I was mentioning, I'm very privileged this morning to be a part of this workshop. At the outset, I wish to extend my warm greetings to everyone present and sincere appreciation to the Department of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, the project team and the JICA for their dedication and commitment in bringing this initiative to life. Nagaland is a land blessed with rich forest, vibrant biodiversity, and unique cultural traditions. Our forests and landscapes are not just natural resources, but the very identity of our people. For generations, Jhum cultivation has been central to this identity. Too often, Jhum is misunderstood as simply shifting cultivation, but the truth, it is much more. It is a system of life that has sustained our food, our community bond, and our culture for centuries. However, times are changing. Today, our farmers face new challenges. Fallow cycles are becoming shorter. Soils are losing fertility, and biodiversity is declining. And climate change is adding more stress. So these changes threaten not just the environment, but also the security and well-being of our villages and land. It is in this context that ROJB is a timely and visionary step forward. This organization will act as a center of excellence, a place where knowledge is generated, solutions are created, and communities are empowered to keep Jhum sustainable and biodiversity protected. I believe ROJB must stand on three important pillars. The customary stewardship is number one. For centuries, our village councils, our elders, and community institutions have looked after our land, forest, and water. ROJB must work closely with these traditional systems, documenting their practices, must work closely with these traditional systems. Documenting their practices, strengthening them, and combining them with modern tools. As the old Naga proverb says, when the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. So if our roots remain strong, our communities will endure. So there is the second pillar is science and learning. So to make Jhum sustainable in today's context, we need good data and practical knowledge. ROJB can become a hub where traditional wisdom meets modern science, where mapping, soil studies, and biodiversity monitoring guide decisions. Farmers, youth, and women must be trained and supported so that the next generation is well prepared to care for our land. Inclusive policy. The knowledge generated here should shape state programs and policies. Incentives for sustainable Jhum, revival of local seed banks, and fair sharing of benefits from ecosystem services must reach every village. No community should be left behind. So if we work on these three key pillars, I am confident that Nagaland landscape can be transformed. We can restore soil fertility, revive rare species, strengthen food security, and create new livelihoods for our people. In doing so, we will also show the rest of India and the world that communities and nature can thrive together. There is also another all Naga saying that reminds us A village that shares its meat never goes hungry. So in the same way, if we share knowledge, resources, and responsibilities, then all our village will prosper. To conclude my short speech, I once again commend the department, JICA, and all partners for this visionary step. Let this launch not just be about starting an institution, but about beginning a new chapter in Nagaland's journey, one of ecological stewardship, sustainable livelihoods, and collective well-being. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time given to me, and I wish you the best for another today and tomorrow workshop with the students. Thank you.